the Taylor Show star, you're a host.
Hello, and welcome back to the Taylor Show, the show where we say things 3 times until they make sense, and they don't always make sense after that either. But regardless, hi, I'm your host. I'm Taylor Brooke. It's just me today, me and you having a little conversation. Dave's not here. Nate's not here. We have no one, but that is great because I can just talk for an hour and you guys have to listen, or you don't have to listen. I mean, you could turn this off at any point that you really wanted to. Anyway, I digress. We need to talk about my close personal friend and her wedding last weekend. I'm talking about Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift got married at Madison Square Garden on the 4th of July weekend to Travis Kelce. Okay. I want to start this off by saying I'm a Swiftie. We know I'm a Swiftie. I've been a Swiftie since 2012 when Taylor Swift popped up in my home state. I've been to every single concert in Philadelphia. I have every record, multiple copies. All of this to say, I went to the Eras Tour. I was 3rd row at the Eras Tour. I love her. Do I love Madison Square Garden as her wedding venue? No, I don't. I mean, I think tacky, if a little gauche, if I'm recalling the Great American Dynasty, Last Great American Dynasty lyrics. I don't love the fact that it was in Madison Square Garden. I don't love the fact that 1,000 people were invited to this. It just doesn't feel very Taylor Swift adjacent. It feels very Travis Kelce coded, which is fine. But it does seem like it was Travis Kelce's wedding and Taylor Swift was there. We all know that I'm not the biggest Travis Kelce fan. He reminds me of one of those Camel cigarettes that like when you snap, they turn menthol. I don't know why, but that's what he reminds me of, a Camel Crush. So Travis Kelce reminds me of a Camel Crush and Taylor Swift reminds me of like God. And so I just don't see how that happened. I mean, I would blame the CTE, but that's more on Travis Kelce's side. I don't think Taylor has CTE. This is a very insensitive, first topic to begin with. I love Taylor Swift. So Swifties, don't come at me. I'm one of you. I didn't love the Madison Square Garden thing. I didn't love the logo with the T and the hearts. It looked kind of Canva adjacent. And I thought the wedding was brought to us by AT&T. Just at Mary. Okay. I feel like they could have done a plus sign. Would have eliminated the stigma of the AT&T thing. They say she painted all of her invitations. That's pretty fucking cool. Imagine being able to write in the way that Taylor Swift is able to write. And then you're like, LOL, I'm just going to try painting. And then you're good at that too. That's, on some level, it's a little annoying that some people have so much talent. And I'm one of those people. It's so hard being me and being so talented. It's walking down the street is difficult. People are always like, Taylor, give me advice. Actually, that's never happened. Maybe once or twice. So yeah, I don't know about the Taylor Swift wedding. I'm excited to see her dress. I'm excited to hear more accounts of the guests and their experiences. Noted that Margaret Qualley was not there because her and Jack Antonoff have split. I think she's so hot and cool and fun, but I also think Jack Antonoff is cool and fun, minus the hot part. I also just started Girls featuring Lena Dunham, and I'm loving it. I don't know where I've been. I've been under a rock since 2012, allegedly, but I needed to dive in, and I've dove in, and I'm on episode 2. So it's obviously going very well for me. So I like Girls so far. I feel like any show that's a group of friends in New York City, Friends, How I Met Your Mother, Girls, Sex and the City, those type of shows I gravitate towards, and we can bounce it back if I really want to drive myself or the editors crazy. In one of the first episodes I ever did for the Taylor show, I was in Manhattan. It was my first big interview. And I think it was with my buddy Imrul Hassan. He was on Summer House for a season. And I'm in the city, and I spent a lot of time in New York growing up. I was a child actress, So my mom and dad were always ushering me up there for something or another. And then we had cultural day at school, which is a weird thing that my high school did where we got culture for a day and we would go to New York and see plays. Regardless, I was not a city person. I was acquainted with the city, but I didn't love it. And then if we bounce back to my first big interview in the first season of this show, I'm in a studio in New York and I'm saying, I'm not a city person. New York kind of freaks me out. And now I got secondhand anger for the New Yorkers that were present in their homes and not in the Hamptons on the 4th of July weekend when 4 avenues were closed down. Like, that stressed me out, not even being there. And I'm sweating at home. I'm like, I can't imagine the only benefit probably to living in Brooklyn if you lived in New York. Also, is Brooklyn New York City? That's something that we need to discuss. I'm not sure. I'm not clear. And I'm not really clear on the neighborhoods in New York either. I love the Village and I love Soho, and don't put me in Times Square. And that's all I got to say about that. I also can navigate the city, New York City, better than I can any other city. Put me in Philadelphia. Yeah, right. You're going to die. I'm going to die. And you're going to die. Wilmington, Delaware. Everybody's going to, it's Kilmington is what we used to call it in high school because there's needles on the ground. You can't step on them. So I digress, but yes, the wedding, the royal wedding, the American royal wedding, Adam Sandler officiating it also is a little wonky to me. That's kind of crazy. It feels like a joke, but allegedly he's very sentimental and he has a lot of different sides to him and emotions. That's awesome. Good for you, Adam. I didn't know they were close. I've also never seen Happy Gilmore. So there's that. Although if I had to say my top 3 male comedians, people that I find very funny, would be Seth Rogen is up there. I do think Larry David is up there. And then I would do Will Ferrell. And then Adam Sandler comes in 5 or 6. I love Will Ferrell, by the way. I watched a movie last weekend, which shocker, she watched a movie. It was called Get Hard. Never seen it before in my life. And I laughed the whole time. And I was semi-sober and laughed the whole time. I don't laugh like that. I don't laugh out loud during movies, if that makes sense. I catalog it. I say, okay, that's kind of funny. And I'm not a movie person. I like Twilight, and that's about fucking it. We're gonna move on from the wedding, but didn't get an invite, and that's okay. I'm okay with it. Although she did invite 1,000 people. And she couldn't invite her close personal friend, Taylor. It's fine. I'm over it. Let's talk about Maxwell House. So the other night, as one does, I was on YouTube and I thought I want to look up ads from the 1960s. And it's a very niche market there. I was I want to see 1960s ads and just what they were like back then, I'm obsessed with Mad Men. I'm obsessed with Don Draper. I think Mad Men is one of the best written television shows of our generation. And working in media, working in advertising and PR and marketing, you identify with that show on a completely different level. So I'm let me look up some 1960s advertisements. I want to talk about Maxwell House because I watched about an hour and 40 minutes of Maxwell House commercials from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and I just have to talk about it. Okay. This was their slogan of sorts. Be a good little Maxwell housewife. That was their slogan. And in every commercial, it was the man being annoyed. You didn't make the eggs the right way. Oh, you messed up the bacon. But you know what you did great? You made great coffee. What the actual fuck? Why was coffee such a big thing? Wives had to make sure. They had to make sure that they got their man's coffee right in the morning before they started taking their Quaaludes and all of that in the afternoon. Speaking of Quaaludes, where did they go? I mean, I watched The Wolf of Wall Street, right? They were all doing Quaaludes. What is a Quaalude? Is it LSD? Is it Molly? I don't even know what those are actually. Now that we're on the topic of drugs, I feel I should probably mention this. This is a little PSA, a little announcement. Hi, guys. If you feel the need to comment on my YouTube or my Instagram or slide in a DM, a message request perhaps, or maybe even on Threads. Maybe you're just, thirsty on there and you're I gotta tell Taylor how I feel about her. My parents don't care that I talk about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Okay, they don't care about it. They support me and they love the podcast and they listen. There is no need to ask what my parents think about this. They're very supportive. In fact, my mom at points has said, be a little more controversial. I think you could go a little crazier. So if you're commenting and you're saying, I think you need to stay this way, or you're giving the wrong impression, sincerely go fuck yourself, because my parents don't care, so why the fuck do you care? I'm not your kid. I'm not your friend. I'm just your local podcaster, Taylor Brook. So I just felt the need to say that. Like, I feel like my parents have been catching so many strays in the comment section, being like, if that were my daughter, well, I'm not. So off you go. But love that for you. Speaking of, I want to talk about Love Island. Because there's a lot of discourse because the families are coming in this week. So when this episode comes out, you will have seen the family episode, I'm sure. I need to talk about Love Island USA and the incredible discrepancy that there is between USA Love Island and UK Love Island and this generation of individuals. Okay, I was born in 97, so technically I am Gen Z, question mark? I'm like right on that cusp, okay? I'm 29 years old, which sounds like a fake age. Like everyone's like, okay, yeah, you're 29. I am actually. Jesus, these Gen Z girls are so obsessed on the UK or on the US version of Love Island with being lustful. They do not want to be considered lustful. Ladies. Why? Sincere is out here doing his fucking thing. He doesn't even care about Melanie. Okay, let's make that clear. He's gallivanting. He's pretending he loves Melanie and all of this bullshit. And he's having the time of his life. They're all having the times of their lives. And then Kenzie decides to explore a little bit, you know, and the off time that she's not doing splits, which I'm hearing we're calling clam slams, which is just okay. But she's exploring, and then Dylan is giving her grief, right? He's like, oh my God, I don't know if you mean it that you want me to meet your family. And like, oh, please. And then she's like, I don't want to be considered being lustful. Be lustful. Be a little more lustful, actually. You guys are tame on this season of Love Island USA. This is insane. Like, what happened to women being super sexual and proud of it? Now they're so embarrassed, and I hate it. It makes me want to throw up, but it doesn't make me want to stop watching because I'm obsessed, okay? I don't know if it's like this era of girls because they're all like under 30. I think the oldest guy is like 30 or 31. I don't understand the lustful nature of it and why they're so concerned about that. If you went back to like Love Island UK seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe up until season 5, maybe, they used to like chain smoke cigarettes in the villa and get wasted. Like now they don't do that. Now they can have 2 glasses of wine maximum. I don't even think there's beer. And like, because I don't want them to get like all twisted and crazy, but also let them have a night. I feel like we'd get more accomplished with Love Island USA if you let them get blackout drunk by Suki Waterhouse. That's a song that I really like, by the way. Yeah, no, I think they should get blackout drunk. I think it would be way more interesting. I want Kenzie to win just because she's blonde and I'm blonde, so we got to stick together. Can't start on the blonde on blonde hate crime anymore. We had enough of that with Alex Earl and Alex Cooper, which I guess just dissipated. We don't care anymore. They were like feuding, and then she was like, you can tell your side of the story, Alex Earl. And then Alex Earl was like, on it. And then she was never on it. Now she's like making out with Tom Brady. Speaking of Tom Brady, allegedly, I heard Tom Brady left Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding early because Lena Dunham made a speech, and Lena Dunham said that football was like semi-homoerotic or something, and he got mad and he left. I say that every week on this podcast, actually. I said that in front of my husband's family the other day, and they were like, I'm not sure about that. And I said, I can show you a 10-page thesis on why I think football is a little gay. And I mean gay in the best way. I have to keep checking my phone, which is obnoxious, and I'm so sorry for that. But something really traumatic happened to me. Very traumatic. Okay. Do I address the traumatic thing? I think I have to address the traumatic thing. The traumatic thing that happened to me was I was out and about earlier this week. Let me preface this, actually. I'm going to land the fucking plane, by the way. Just bear with me. Let me preface this by saying I love my dogs more than anything in the whole entire world. They're my children, okay? And I don't like children. So these are my kids. I treat them like they are God. They are Jesus Christ in themselves. I had to go to work. Sometimes I gotta work, and I can't always be at home with the girls. And I want to be, but I can't because I have stuff to do. Well, I was out of the house. left my poodle, my mini golden doodle, to their own devices. They had the housewives on, by the way. They love to sit and watch the TV, so they are fine. They had full water, full food. They had just been on a walk. I come home and discover that they have eaten a box of raisins. Not one little box, 3 boxes, about this big, of raisins. So I get home and I think, what are raisins? They're grapes, right? They're dehydrated grapes or something. Yeah, dogs can't have that, or they die. Literally, they die. So I'm on the phone with fucking poison control. They're like, how many did your dogs eat? I'm like, I don't know. A lot. Because they're not here anymore and they were here. They're like, you got to bring them to the emergency vet. I say, okay. So I'm tracking them in the car. I'm like crying, by the way. And so I'm texting my husband. I'm like, hey, by the way, our dogs are dying. I'm going to be at the vet in Delaware. So I am driving down to the vet. I'm in the vet's office. They're like, so how many raisins did they eat? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't see them eat the fucking raisins and I'm stressed. The vet's like, yeah, so before we can even like test them or do anything just to make sure their vitals are okay, can you make sure that you sign this right here because it's going to be $800 minimum? Okay. One, I'll pay any amount of money for my dogs. That means nothing to me. But the only thing that a pet parent is concerned about when you walk into an emergency vet is my dog okay? Take my fucking credit card. I don't care. I'll pay you. But the first thing I hear, I don't want it to be, oh, we can't see them until we get your $800. Like, I will run down to the fucking PNC and take it out in cash and hand it to you if that's what you fucking need. But like, that rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, okay, I get it. Here's the card, but let me be with my dogs. Like, I'm nervous about them. Anyway, we get in. They're like, we're going to have to induce vomiting because they can't keep raisins in them. I'm like, okay. My poodle vomited a little bit of raisins. They said, okay, she did eat a couple. We're not that concerned, but like, we're going to monitor. Still going through things. My mini golden doodle is a menace and she ate all the raisins. So they were like, okay, we're worried about her dying. So then they're like, okay, they have to do overnight treatment. I say, okay. They have to do overnight treatment, IV fluids, all of that good stuff, Serenia because of the nausea. I say, okay, we can't take them here. We have to transfer them to another vet. Okay, Brenda, where's the other vet? It's the other side of the highway. Okay, amazing. I'll get them there. We're like wrapping up. She's talking. She's actually not the nicest. I am going to like go out on a limb and say the first vet we saw was very matter of fact. And I was like, are they going to be okay? And she was like, I can say with this percentage that I think they're going to be okay. But you know, most people. And then she went into if you can't afford to bring them to the other emergency vet overnight. I was like, okay. I have pet insurance, Brenda. Also, shout out to Fetch. Thank you, Fetch, that you exist. Because without pet insurance, this would have been a fucking nightmare. Because do you know how much it is to keep your dog overnight in a hospital? Over $1,000 a night. Like, my dogs right now are up to costing us about $7,000 because of this raisin debacle. So all of this to say, they're at the new emergency vet. They're going to be there until tonight. I'm going to go pick them up and they should be fine. But these fucking idiots ate raisins and I'm going to have increased therapy bills from how much stress they've caused me from this. Raisins! Who even eats raisins anymore? I don't. I bought them for salad. I was like, oh, it'd be really like spicy of me if I threw some raisins in my afternoon salad. Like, fuck off, Taylor, you idiot. You idiot. And like also just like an FYI to vets out there, like just like be like a little more compassionate, you know? Like, and I don't know. It was a lot and it stressed me out. Thankfully, my husband was able to jet down to the emergency vet and help me out because 2 dogs throwing up is not ideal. And then I went to see them yesterday and they were so drugged out because like they're on anxiety med, I guess, like different anxiety medicines because it's stressful being in an emergency vet. And I was like, what are they on? And they were like trazodone. And I was like, same. So now my dogs and I are on the same antipsychotics and that's beautiful. Also notably, Dave Cruz's dog is also on trazodone, which he takes from his dog. I don't know why I felt the need to like out Dave Cruz for doing recreational drugs that belong to his dog, but when in Rome, when you're not here. Speaking of Rome, let's talk about my travel plans. Hold please while I take a massive sip of this coffee. We're not sponsored yet, but Duncan, hi, I'm Taylor, and I run on you. or you run on me. There's so many bad jokes I could make right now, and I'm not going to because that could cost me a sponsorship, but know what I'm thinking. You know what I'm thinking. Okay. Where was I going with this? I was going with Duncan, dogs, land the plane, Taylor. Consistency is the rhythm of my fucking dance floor. Okay, no, I said Rome. Now we're talking about overseas. Okay. I am starting a new campaign, which is something that no one on my team likes to hear for the first time while listening to this podcast. But here we are. It was going to be Taylor takes Paris, right? Beautiful. But now I'm thinking Taylor takes France. Taylor takes Nice. Taylor takes, I don't know. We're workshopping it. I thought at first I want to spend my 30th birthday in France. That's my favorite country. No, I'm not going to do that because my birthday is in May and I have higher hopes than Panic at the Disco had in like 2019. I think I want to go to Nice and do Taylor takes Nice. Taylor makes Nice nice. I don't know. We got to workshop it. Someone, Gen Z correspondent Stephanie, call me. Let me know your thoughts on this. But what I'm thinking is I want to do a full Taylor Abroad series with you guys and show you how I travel. We've been everywhere together. Like you saw my national series, you saw my Disney series, you've seen my New York series. I think it'll be really fun to travel abroad together, be able to show you some of my favorite places, some of the places that I haven't been to yet, and how I handle the stress of traveling and how I make it a little bit easier for anxious girlies like me. A lot of drugs are involved. We love Klonopin when we travel. Just kidding. Not really. No, I don't have to say just kidding. That's a legal thing. Like that's a prescription. I'm fine with that. But yes, so that's a new campaign. I'm looking for partners. So if you are French or you are an airline or a hotel or anybody really, call my team. I'll put their email right here. Speaking of, your girl has a new team. Crazy. I do. I have a new team. I am a member of Double Shot Talent Agency, and I'm super excited and super thrilled about that. So we have new members here fielding all of your dire questions and your dire emails for Taylor or to the Taylor Brook Media conglomerate. That is, 4 of us. Anyway. We talked about Paris. We are up to 6.2 million impressions, guys, just on Instagram because of the last episode. And to me, that is absolutely fucking insane. I love how many new people I've gotten to meet, how many new, I was going to say fans, but that is so obnoxious. Like beat me, stab me, kill me. Followers, listeners. I am so happy and I'm so glad that we were able to connect over whether it was adoption, whether it was my below deck takes with my buddy Brandon, or whether you just thought my Taylor Swift montage during her wedding stuff was funny. Like, I'm so happy. Hello, everyone. 6.2 million is fucking insane and I do not take it for granted. When I was talking about recreational drugs, I do feel the need to mention something else. And I think it's been clear on this podcast, but I do want to make it clear again in case you got lost in the sauce. Okay, guys, come closer. I'm a fan of cannabis. Oh my God. Shocker. The comments are crazy. Guys, I've done so many ads for THC drinks, for CBD gummies, for this wellness supplement or this or that made with hemp. Guys, I'm okay. We're okay. I'm not high when I'm recording the podcast, unfortunately. Most of the time, I'd say about 60% of the time, I'm sober. So the comments, it's so funny, but I do feel like I need to say, like, this is a cannabis friendly podcast. We live, we laugh, we love. Again, partners, hit me up, call me. But we are workshopping a couple like fun campaigns with that. And I figured I would just give my audience the clue in that don't worry, I'm not doing anything nefarious. I'm also not practicing what I preach. Like if I am telling you that I've tried this THC drink or this seltzer, I'm not like lying to you. Okay. You and me? Not lying. Speaking of weed, I went to the World Cup and it was awesome. Dave and I went with my friend Rachel and we walk. It was like World Cup celebration. So I didn't go to the game. It was the Brazil-Japan like excitement rally of sorts in Philadelphia. Where in Philadelphia? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. All I know is that I drove there and I parked and then I got out and walked and I was fine. So we get there and then they go through your bag and I had a clear bag And I know that this is like what happens. They go through the bag and they say like, you can bring that, you can't bring that. I didn't have anything crazy. I brought some business cards, some stickers, and I had my road mics just so I could do on the street bits. What else did I have? I didn't even have my wallet, like just my ID, just in case like I needed my ID. Someone was like, who are you? Well, I also had a pack of cigarettes in there because I love a Marlboro Light. I'm not going to apologize for that. Something I do in my bag of cigarettes, in my pack of cigs, is I put a couple joints in there because I'm a girl. Okay, and you never know what you're going to need. And they're pink and they're cute and they're little dog walkers. So they go, you can't have cigs in here. And I say, babe, respectfully, it's not just cigs in here. And she goes, I can't let you through the cigarettes. And I said, respectfully, when I throw this in the trash, not just me is going to be disappointed, but all y'all are going to be disappointed because you don't know that there's joints in here. And she goes, really? And I said, yeah, babe. And she goes, okay, we'll just throw it on the top of the trash can. I did, and they took the joints. So, like, you're welcome for helping you get high if you were working at the World Cup festivities with Brazil versus Japan in Philadelphia, because I could have let you just throw them away. And instead, I gave you free weed. I'm a woman of the people, essentially, is what I am. I'm pretty sure that I went over with my legal team not to talk about that on the podcast this week, but I'm alone. I don't care. Let's talk about The Valley. The Valley came out with I don't think it's the season finale, but we're getting there. I hate Danny. 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 Do you know how much I hate Danny? A lot. The fact, one, that he's like a Walking Dead voiceover guy and he's like the voice of the zombies. Ick. You also remind me of Charlie Kirk. Ick. I'm going to have to cut that out. Fuck, I'm gonna have to cut that out. You also remind me, I'll just bleep it. Fuck it. Okay, whatever. I don't like you. There's something with people who hide behind religion as like a shield to like justify all of their actions that I don't fuck with, and I don't fuck with you. And you know what? Everyone feels bad for Nia. Nia, listen to your friend Taylor. Fucking leave him before you have 5 children under 5 years old with this narcissistic little asshole. And I stand by that 10 toes down. Bravo. Sorry. Okay. I'm not trying to get on your bad side, but I'm also trying to save you from a lot of liability. And I guarantee this man is not good for anyone's brand. The theme song of The Valley too. It's all right. I'm all right. Like, nobody's all right. Everybody's fucking insane. Besides Lala, I like Lala. That's who I fuck with because she's honest. When she's sober too, which I admire because they're all always drinking and doing whatever drugs they're on. And she's sober, she's clear-headed, and she tells everybody how it is. And I respect that. I fuck with her. I think she's a really good friend. And I think Janet is a good friend too. Let's remember, Janet came into this Bravo-verse because of Sheena Shea. We can't talk about anything Bravo, not mention Sheena, because everything's about Sheena in the Bravo universe and the universe in general. But she's Sheena's friend, Janet. So, like, of course she's going to have some Sheena qualities. Like, you kind of see it in these seasons, and I fuck with that. I love Janet. I think she's fun. I think she's authentic. I think she's very honest. I think her and Jason do a really good job at showing the public what their marriage does look like. Like, they're not, it's all butterflies and rainbows, but they love each other. Like, you can tell, like, this couple is a couple that's going to make it till forever. And I stand by that. I will be very upset if that is not the case because I do think they are kind of Bravo goals. They are that kind of couple that doesn't give me Kyle and Amanda. They don't give me Teresa and Joe. Like, there's something about it. I love them. I love them. And I stand by that. I actually commented on one of Janet's things recently and I was like, no one could ever make me hate you. And she responded and I thought, do you know who I am? Probably not, but it's worth a shot, you know? Or it was like her team that like liked it. I don't know. I had an anniversary this week. Shocker. I'm married. Someone signed up for this. I know. It's fucking crazy. We've been married for 3 years, which is insane. I think I'll give us like another 10 before you get sick of me. Maybe. I don't know. He's not going to think that's funny if he listens to the podcast for sure. But we had our 3-year wedding anniversary. I typically don't post very, very like intimate moments of my life on social media. That's not something that I do. Like, I share a lot, but there are something that I keep very close to the chest. I wasn't going to talk about the dogs and raisins, but now I know that they're fine, so I can talk about it. But like my wedding, I just never really posted a lot. I think I posted one photo like in an elevator and it was blurry. But I posted a wedding picture this week and it was like very cute and romantic. I put a 1975 song behind it about you, and it was very freeing getting to post something like that. And I was able to Photoshop everybody out of my pictures, which is iconic because there are so many people that were in my wedding that I don't talk to anymore because I had a lot of friends 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I had a lot of friends. And then I cut everyone out, or they cut me out. I think the podcast definitely was a catalyst for that because people were like, wait, that's how you feel about me? Wait, what? That's your thoughts and opinions? No, not really. I just think like some friendships like outgrew each other. There was one girl who was in my wedding party that was like making out with some guy who had a girlfriend and then like denied it, which was really weird. And I didn't love that. Another one of the girls that was in my wedding that I'm not friends with anymore got mad at me for not inviting her to a concert with my mom, which was weird. I don't fucking know. But I cropped everyone out. Also, one man at my wedding that I definitely cropped out was, he like said something during the vows and he was like, lame. Or did he say lame? Or like gay? And I was like, who the fuck do you think you are? You'll never see me or my husband again. And guess what? He hasn't. I can hold a grudge, if you couldn't fucking tell. I can hold a grudge. Not as well as some of my other friends, but I totally can. So for my anniversary, my husband, so year 3 is leather, right? They say that's what you're supposed to get. It's like one of those romantic things, like every year of marriage represents something different. For year 3, it was leather. So of course, I got my husband a polo. I'm like moving my hair just so you can see that I'm wearing polo. Yeah. This is also Rent the Runway. If you want to save 60% on your first month with Rent the Runway, you're going to want to use my promo code RTRX. Taylor Brook. I'll put it right here. So anyway, I get my husband this wallet, this polo Ralph Lauren wallet. It has a little bear on it. So cute. My husband gets me a leather-bound 1890 to 1905. I'm not sure like what the actual date is. Edition of a collection of poems by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, Virginia Woolf's predecessor, who she looked up to. I'm so into it. I love books. I love literature. I'm a big English nerd. I love that it's leather bound. He also got me a 1941 edition of A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf, which is the year that she died, 1941. And a collection of poems by Sylvia Plath. Just all of my favorite tortured women artists. Something that my parents actually were asking me about today is they were like, Taylor, do you realize that your whole book and novel catalog is all tortured women writers from the 18 and 1900s? And I said, yes. And I only like authors who died in really tragic ways. So like Sylvia Plath stuck her head in an oven. I identify with that. I've often wanted to do the same. Virginia Woolf left a note to her husband and said, I think I'm going mad again. Dearest, I think I'm going to go mad again. Left the note for him, put some rocks in her motherfucking pocket, and drowned herself in the river. That's iconic. Iconic. Now, Elizabeth Barrett Browning did not die tragically. I think she died of like heart disease, but no one knows because it was like the 1800s, you know? Early 1900s. And then my husband also got me a copy of Robert Frost poems that like he's like the one man in the literature realm that I really fuck with. Like, I like Robert Frost. I think that he views the human experience so vastly different than other writers from his generation. Is this a literary podcast? Is this like an educational podcast now? I mean, I always think it's self-help, but now I really think that I'm so intelligent that this should be, I'm kidding. My students are watching this and they're like, yeah, we didn't get this much from 3 semesters with you actually, which like class is going to start soon, which I've been thinking about, which I have to like mentally prepare myself for getting up and being at class at 8 a.m., which like I'm tired. So like when my students get there and they're like, I am exhausted, professor. I'm like, how do you think I feel? I'm older than you. I have a family to support. kind of. I have 2 dogs. I have a husband. Like, being a woman of leisure isn't easy, guys. I've been saying that all the time recently. I've been calling myself a woman of leisure, which is very funny because I work nonstop. Like, building a company and owning a company is so different than any job I've ever had before, because I'm not just responsible for myself and my podcast, but I'm responsible for other people's brands and their connotations outside of the 4 walls of their offices. And yeah, we're feeling it. So yeah, calling myself a woman of leisure is just like my new favorite little phrase, little slogan, little tagline, because Shep often says that on Southern Charm. He's like, I'm a man of leisure. That's his thing. Oh my God, we got to talk about Thomas Ravenel. Thomas Ravenel of Southern Charm DM'd me back. I know. Allegedly. We'll say allegedly. We'll put the DMs up here, actually, because I'm so tired of people's teams coming back on social media and being like, that didn't happen. If I'm talking about it, it happened. So yes, so he messaged me back and he said maybe he'll be on the podcast. And I think that's a good recession indicator right there, is that Thomas Ravenel is saying that he might be on the podcast. Also, the term recession indicator is like one of my favorite things to say recently, because someone will be like, oh, I had to cancel my trip because my grandfather died. And I'm like, that's a recession indicator. If I've ever seen one. The Taylor Swift wedding at Madison Square Garden was a recession indicator. Oh, also, I need to call out Steven Singer, who I know, actually. Like, Steven and I have met many times before. He's given me one of those roses. You know, there's like Valentine's Day roses that are like preserved. I like his dog. Working in radio for so long, you get to know the players and the characters and the advertisers. So Steven Singer, hi, it's been a while. Your new ad on 95, I like almost crash every time I see it. So I do think that it is a risk for the population of Philadelphia. Writing BDE massive on a billboard, and then underneath of it, Big Diamond Energy. It's a little cringy. Like, I don't want to be, it's a little much. Like, because I'm reading it as Big Dick Energy, which you want me to. You want me to read it as Big Dick Energy. Love. I don't know. I want to know what Gen Z correspondent is in charge of your marketing campaigns. Also, we would love to have you as a sponsor on the Taylor Show. Hit me up at my new agency. With all of that, since I haven't shut the fuck up for 52 minutes, I'm going to go. I'm going to let you have your piece back, and we'll see you next week on the Taylor Show. Bye, little gremlins.